Growing up, was difficult at times, because we sometimes struggled financially. And my dad, it was up to him to raise us by himself. What I admire the most about my dad is he really persevered and pushed, through life and through obstacles. He really doesn't give up, and he always reminds us that what he does, it's, to keep us moving forward. After school, I would spend hours in the library studying. I didn't have internet at home. I had to go over to the McDonald's and finish up some homework. And I remember, looking up and seeing this poster in the lobby. It was about the Hacer scholarship. So I applied. At first I felt, what are the odds? But then I remember my dad always saying, you have to push through. You have to have hope.
Wow, what a story. I never get tired of listening to Eric and his family story. Big shout out to Eric and his father. That's resiliency, right? That's the greatest proof you need to understand that persistence beats resistance every single time. So congratulations to them. What is up? All right, I'm excited. Welcome to our virtual workshop. This is a part of the 2021 McDonald's Education Tour, and we are so excited to have you here. All right, right now outside it's snowing, but in here we got nothing but love and energy. And I'm your host. My name is Carlos Alberto Ojeda Torres Rivera de Jesus Jr., but you can call me Chu. All right, and we have a lot of great stuff prepared for you today. Now, I don't know about you, but the hardest part of the college application process for me was the essay. And it's the same thing with my son. We're struggling with that. And I know I have a story. I know he had the story, but we didn't know how to take pen and put it to paper and create an essay out of it. All right. Lucky for you, we're going to hear from a very special guest who will be sharing some great tips and tricks to help you approach the essay in a unique way and hopefully get you some money. Our workshop today will require some participation. It's not just you sitting there listening. So please activate the little purple button right that you see to activate the chat so that we can go back and forth, have some reciprocity, and you can engage with us. Also, did I mention that there's going to be an opportunity to win some prizes? If I didn't, guess what? You heard me right. We've got prize giveaways on behalf of McDonald's. All right, so what are they? Well, I got one lucky winner who's going to receive a pair of Bluetooth earbuds. All right. We're also going to have some $25 McDonald's Arch cards so you can get some papitas or whatever your favorite McDonald's French fry, McDonald's meal is. For me, it's the French fries with the milkshake, dipping them. Yeah, I know that's weird, but I love it. All right. It's a guilty pleasure. I can't help it. We're going to give you some Arch cards. All right. And we're going to have McDonald's merch packs filled with awesome McDonald's swag. All right. So I know your question. How do we win it? How do we get it? All right. Number one, you stay and participate and engage. All right. But you have two ways to enter, two ways to win. Number one is on your screen. You're going to see the QR code. All you have to do is grab your phone, scan the QR code, and it's going to take you to a screen that's going to give you your information. Your phone is going to recognize that QR code, and it's going to open up a notification. You click on that notification. It's going to open up the link, and it's going to give you all the steps for you to enter and win. That's number one. Number two, if you don't want to scan the QR code, simple. You can text I said more to 866-213-5881. Those are the two ways for you to get in where you fit in. All right. Winners are chosen at random, and we'll be letting you know if you won at the end of the workshop. All right. So make sure you scan the QR code or you text I said more to 866-213-5881. It's on the bottom of the screen, y'all. All right. Keep your eye on your text messages because all of our winners today will be notified via text. Okay. Now, one last thing before we start. Have fun. Some of you might be at school. Some of you might be at home. There's a snow day here. My kids are upstairs on virtual. Wherever you are, have fun. We've got an amazing presenter that's going to be presenting really great information. We want you to have a good time while you learn everything you need to learn to write a phenomenal essay. All right? So, my pleasure to introduce your guest speaker today, coming to the virtual stage. He is the world spoken word poetry champion. All right. He is an award winning teacher. But to me, he's one of my dearest friends, an amazing father, an amazing husband, an amazing humano, just an amazing human being. Does so much for his community. But above all, he has the most spectacular way with words. And above and beyond that, he has an amazing way to help you write the best essay you can. So please get some virtual applause for my good friend, Mr. Joaquin Zihuatanejo.
Thank you so much, Chu. It's an honor to be here with you. Thank you, McDonald's. Thank you, Hacer, for having me. My name is Joaquin Cihuataneo. I'm a poet and writer and teacher, and I'm coming to you live today from about 20 minutes north of my hometown of Dallas, Texas. And unlike Philly, it's not snowing today. It's actually beautiful today in Dallas, Texas. And I hope it's beautiful where you are too. Today we're going to talk about the Hacer Scholarship. And we're going to talk about the scholarship essay short response portion of it. And it's a very important part of the process. But before we dive too deeply into that aspect, why don't we just start at the beginning and make sure that everyone out there in the virtual world knows how to get there, how to apply, and how to begin. So we're going to run a short informative video. You're going to start at the hacertour.com page. You're going to want to scroll down. You'll see a few windows on the bottom. And you'll want to click on that window that says McDonald's Hacer National Scholarship. You're going to be prompted to apply now. So make sure you click on that. And it's going to ask you if you want to continue to, and yes, you want to continue. So click on that. And then you get to the account login. You can't log in until you create an account. So make sure you register. And that's where you have to put in your email, confirm the password, and your birthday. And just in case we have a couple of people that just walked into this virtual workshop, again, hacertour.com, scroll to the bottom. Click on McDonald's Hacer National Scholarship. It will ask you if you want to apply now. Of course, you want to apply now. It will ask you, do you want to continue? Yes, you want to continue. And then you'll have to create an account. So scroll down to don't have an account, register. And make sure you put in your email, confirm it, your password, confirm it, and your birthday. And you're actually ready to begin the process of filling out the information. Now, when you're filling out this information, you are eventually going to come to what is one of the most important parts of any scholarship application process, and that's the short response section or the essay section or the personal statement section. And in my study of the scholarship process over the last few years, I've actually been able to talk with people who are on scholarship committee boards and scholarship selection committees, and they all say the same thing to me about the process. Maybe the most crucial part of it is the short response, is the personal statement. Because this is where they get to know you as a scholar and a person. And you want them walking away from your short response believing in you, rooting for you, cheering for you. And that's why these are so important. Now, I want to take a quick look at the actual questions that you will be asked for the Hacer Scholarship. We're not trying to trick you. We're not trying to fool you. We want to give them to you now so you can begin thinking about them. So here's one of them. What career path are you planning to pursue? What do you want to be when you grow up and why? Keep this in mind about this question. This is the question that has a 300-word limit. Some of the others may only have a 100-word limit. Keep that in mind. Make sure you're writing to that word limit. This is a 300-word limit question. So make sure you use as much of those words as you can so they get to know you and what career you're planning for your future. Another question that you're going to be prompted to think about and write about. What has most influenced your professional or career aspirations for the future? This might be a person, an event, a moment of triumph, maybe a moment of defeat. That's okay too. But again, notice that this question is one of the 100-word limit versions. Be mindful of how many words you have for each question. They're also going to ask you to consider, you go further with company. Describe an influential person in your life and how he or she has changed your view of yourself and the world. You may use examples from your family life, community service, or extracurricular activities. So again, this might be a description about something that happened on the campus or on the court or on the field, or maybe even in your community. But also keep in mind that this is one of those questions that has a 100-word limit. So make sure you're writing to that 100-word limit when you're addressing this very large question. Next, they're going to ask you to consider, some believe that a person of character demonstrates the following 6 qualities: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. Pick one of these qualities, describe the value of this quality, and most importantly, explain how you have exemplified this trait. If I was going to choose one, I might choose respect and everything that my abuelo, my grandfather, taught me about that word. But I'd have to do it in 100 words because that's the 100-word question that we have for this one. So keep that in mind when you're addressing this question. Describe a time when you were in a leadership position. What obstacle did you have to overcome? How did you overcome those obstacles to obtain your goal? They're going to want to know about your leadership skills, and this is your chance to amplify all the things you've done as a good leader on your campus and in your community as well. And again, keep in mind, this is one of those 100-word limit questions. So make sure that you're writing somewhere between 75 and 98 words. You want to use as much space as you can that you have there at your disposal. So these are all very, very large questions. And a lot of times when I talk with young writers about writing the short response or writing the personal statement, they say they feel overwhelmed. They don't really know where to begin. And I think that's okay because we all feel that way. I'm a writer, and I feel that way every day when I put pen to fingers to keyboards. So it's okay to feel overwhelmed, but this is how we tackle that overwhelming feeling: by brainstorming, by pre-planning, by pre-writing. So we're going to do some of that together today. We're actually going to do a quick write activity I love to do with young writers called 15 in less than 15. That's where we come up with 15 themes or topics or ideas that we can actually transform into short responses and prove to ourselves that we have something to say to the world, that our voice matters. So let's begin this 15 in less than 15 activity because we actually have less than 15 minutes to do it. So let's get to work. So again, you're going to need your pen, your paper, your tablet, whatever you can write with and take notes on. And by the way, I had a scholar say to me when we did this workshop in the fall, is it okay if we share some of our answers in the chat? Absolutely. I think when we share, we inspire each other. So feel free to share in the chat as we make our way through this activity. So we're going to brainstorm a list of 3 things for different topics. It'll make sense in a moment when I show you what the first one is. So what I'm going to challenge you to do now is write down the word people. And then under that word, number down 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to write down 3 people who've had a big impact on your life, who've shaped you into the scholar or person that you are today. Your 30 seconds begins now. Go. This might be a family member, a friend, a scholar, a teacher. It's your list. It's your choice. Excellent work. Well done. You see, we're challenging you to think about the people who've influenced you and some of the questions that you're being asked, and you've already came up with 3. But now let's think about where some big moments in your life happened. So let's write down the word places. And let's number down 1, 2, 3. And this might be a place where you achieved something. It might be a place where you met a goal. It might be a place where you faced a struggle. So I want you to write down the name of a place where something significant happened to you. Now, for me, that might be Dallas, where I was born and raised, or it might be Paris, where I won the European World Championship of Poetry. For you, 3 places where something important happened in your life. You have 30 seconds to write down the names of those places. Go. And by the way, that might be a large place, like a city, like Dallas. But you can zoom in for a close-up, particular park, particular room. Your call. Another 10 seconds if you're thinking and writing. Excellent work. Well done. I'm so proud of you. Some of you are probably even writing down more than 3 ideals. That's okay. Let's move on to another topic that we need to be thinking about when we're thinking about the short responses for the Hacer scholarship, short response section. A credo. A credo is a statement of belief. Yes, sometimes you're going to be challenged to write about the things that you believe in wholeheartedly with all of your being. So I'm going to challenge you to write down the word credo and then number down 1, 2, 3 beneath it. And then I want you to write 3 things that you believe in, or 3 things that you believe to be true, or 3 things that you believe with all of your heart. And by the way, don't be afraid to write down yourself, because when you believe in yourself, that's a fantastic thing. So I'll give you another 30 seconds to brainstorm, to think, and write down the 3 things that you truly believe in. Go. 10 seconds if you're still thinking and writing. Keep writing, keep thinking. Excellent work. Well done, scholars. Let's move on to another brainstorming list, another brainstorming concept that's very closely linked to the questions that you're going to have to answer for the Hacer Scholarship short response. Someday. Now I want you to think about your goals, your dreams, the things that you hope to accomplish in your professional career, in your academic endeavors. Now, this might be something that's very immediate and close to you, like starting off with a great first semester at college, but it might be something that's a little further down the line, like gaining a PhD. It's entirely up to you. Your 3 someday goals are up to you, whether they're 5 years away, 8 years away, or even a few weeks away. It's entirely up to you. So think about a goal that you have for your future. In fact, think about 3 of them. Write down the word someday, number down 1, 2, 3, and I'll give you another 30 seconds to write down those goals, those someday dreams. Go for it. Another 10 seconds if you're thinking and writing. Fantastic work. Who knew we had all these great ideals inside of us just waiting to come out into the world? But there you go. They're right there. So before we go any further, I want to take a moment to say that I hope one of those someday goals for some of you might have been making sure I get my application for the Hacer Scholarship in on time, because it is right around the corner. February 7th is our deadline. But do yourself a favor. Don't wait till Feb 7. Don't wait till Feb 6. Start today. Start this afternoon, this evening. Let's get this application filled out and let's get these short responses filled in. But I want you to keep this in mind. I've had a lot of people talk to me all over the country who read responses like this, and they say to me that one of the things that some students fall into is the trap of just writing the 1-sentence response. I want all of you to not fall into that trap. Remember, you're being given 100 words. You're being given 300 words. That's a significant amount of room to write. One great sentence is a great sentence, but it's not a complete answer. So make sure you're elaborating. So set a goal. If you have a 100-word maximum word count, shoot for no less than 75. If you have a 300-word count maximum, shoot for no less than 250. I want them to hear your voice inside that passage. I want them to see how amazing you are inside that passage, because you are. Now, I've got a lot more to say about this process and some more advice to give you, and we're actually going to take some time to put pen to page together today. But before we do, I think it's time we check back in with Chu, just to see how things are going out there in the chat world and see how things are going in the process. Chu, you with us?
Definitely. I'm writing in my book too, Joaquin. One of my someday goals is to visit Spain and Portugal and the Mediterranean. To go back, maybe go to the town in Spain where my family name and our crest comes from. It's something that I've always wanted to do. So I just put it down and I'm writing. So the chat is going well. Kids are asking questions. And the one thing I want to remind everybody, Joaquin is rocking it. I hope you're getting a lot out of him, but we're learning, but we also got prizes to win, right? So we're getting all this wonderful information. Why not get something a little extra? So we've got prizes today. Some lucky winner will win a Bluetooth earbud. All right. So we've got a pair here. All you have to do, get in where to do what you have to do to win. We also have $25 arch cards, and we have, I think, some merch packs. So make sure that you scan the QR code or text I said more to 866-213-5881. All right. So this is a reminder. I know you're writing and you're deep in thought with some of the topics that Joaquin is sharing with you, but make sure you use the QR code or text to win so that you can get a prize. So Joaquin, I know you've got some really awesome writing activities coming up. What do you got for us next?
Chu, thanks for sending it back to me. I've got a lot for these young scholars that I want to get through in a very little time to do it. But please, yes, do be texting in to try and win. Do be scanning that QR code to try and win. Because sometimes when I need to sit down and write, there's nothing like some McNuggets that can make me get through the writing process. And I want you to win those arch cards if you can, and those prizes if you can, as a way of thanking you for being here with us today. So we talked about brainstorming and letting the ideals come to us. But now we need to talk about the actual questions themselves and the writing process. So what I want to do is I want to put up one of the questions that's actually on the application so we can take a closer look at it and think about it. So here's one of those questions right now. This is, what has most influenced your professional or career aspirations for the future? Now remember, when you think about, some of these words can be intimidating, like aspirations, but just think of it as sort of like your dreams. What is your dream for your future, and who has influenced those dreams? For me, when I thought about my dream of being a poet and a teacher and an educator, I think about the first person to place a book in my hand and challenge me to read, and that was my abuelo, my grandfather. So in a way, he was my first teacher. So I know immediately that that's probably where I'm going to go in this essay, in this short response of 100 words. And you're probably already thinking to yourself about a moment or a memory or a person that sort of has driven you into the path that you want to walk, who sort of lit a light on that path for you to walk it with greater ease. So now that you're thinking about that, here's what I want to do. I want us to actually put fingers to keyboard, fingers to tablet, pen to page, and let's actually do some writing together so that you can walk away at the end of this workshop with part of that short response in hand and ready to go on the application online. Now look, we're going to write for 3 minutes. 3 minutes is not going to be enough time to maybe write the complete answer, but it's enough time to get a good start. So let's dive in with a 3-minute silent writing session. And by the way, a scholar asked me last time when we did this in the fall, is it okay if we share in the chat some of what we created, our response? Absolutely. This is how we become stronger writers, by sharing our work with others and getting feedback, not criticism, feedback from others. So let's address this question. 3 minutes. I'll check back in with you, and from time to time, I might even pop in to offer a word of advice. Let's begin, and let's write. Remember, after you've written that first sentence, go back and reread it. The goal of the first sentence should be to catch the reader, catch their attention, and pull them into the short response. Does yours catch their attention? Doesn't? We might need to edit and revise, but keep writing. I talked earlier about the word feedback. Remember, it's okay to have someone read over your response, a friend, another student, a teacher, a mentor. It's called proofreading, and it always helps. Excellent work, scholars. That's the way we do it. We begin the process by simply writing, by getting the words on the page or on the screen, and then we can go back and we can revise, then we can go back and we can edit, then we can go back and make it stronger, but it all starts with the generative portion, which is the creation. And I'm so proud of all of you for putting those fingers to keyboard and creating. Now, when you're writing, there are some things I want you to keep in mind, some sort of helpful hints and tools, tricks of the trade to being a successful scholarship short response writer. I want to go over those quickly. And I'm going to talk for a moment about each one because each one I think is equally important. So first and foremost, have a great first sentence. I mean, you only get a chance to make one chance to make a first impression, and your first sentence is your first impression. This is when the reader is going to get their first look at you as a person, as a scholar. They're going to ask themselves, are they witty? Are they funny? Are they endearing? Is this the kind of person I want to root for and believe in? That's how important that first sentence is. It's kind of like when you go for a job interview and you meet that person for the first time. That first moment when they hear you and speak with you and shake your hand and you interact, that's the first impression. And the first sentence is the first impression. Now keep in mind, it's okay to write more than one first sentence, to maybe write 3 possible first sentences and then go back and choose the strongest of the 3. There have even been times where I've written 3 possible first sentences and I've thought to myself, well, the beginning of this one and the end of this one are both very good, so why don't I combine them together? And yeah, that's okay to combine some ideas into one really strong sentence. Now, another thing I want to talk about for just a moment is checking your verbs. Now, you have to keep in mind that sentences are made up of all different kinds of words, nouns and adjectives and adverbs, but the most important one is the verb. The verb is the word that's either committing an action or linking an idea. And when you're writing a short response, you want your verbs to be as active and passionate as possible, because this is where we impress our readers with our verbs. I always tell young writers, the verb is 10 times more important than the noun, 100 times more important than the adjective. That's how important it is. So let's think about an active verb like alleviate. And then let's think about a linking verb like is. Which one's more powerful? Which one is more thought-provoking? It's always the more active verb. So keep that in mind. I also want you to think about this: answering the question thoroughly. Again, I've had the chance to talk with people who are on the review committees for many different kinds of scholarships. And many times they tell me One of the biggest traps that young writers fall into is if they are given 300 word limit, they only write 20 words. They write one sentence in that box. And it might be a great sentence, but it's not a complete answer. If you want to write about the impact that your abuela, your grandmother, had on you as a young person and what she taught you about respect and determination and faith and honor and dignity, and you're given 300 words to do that, my goodness, you want to take advantage of 270 of those words, 280, because our grandmothers are large and incredible and important, and we need to use as many words as possible to capture all that they taught us. So don't fall back on that one sentence, 20-word response when you're given 300 words or 100 words. Make sure you're answering it completely and thoroughly. Ask yourself at the end of the writing process, when you read it back and proofread it, ask yourself this question: did I completely and thoroughly answer it? And if you can't say yes to that, it's time to revise. It's time to add, maybe even time to edit. So keep that in mind. And lastly, the last bit of really good advice I want to give all my young writers out there is proofread, proofread, proofread. A lot of us, when we're writing a short response or a personal statement or a scholarship essay, we hit that final punctuation mark, that period or that exclamation mark, and we think, oh my goodness, I'm done. Thank goodness that's behind me. No, we're not done. This is where the real work begins, the work of revision, of editing, of proofreading. And of course, that starts by hitting spell check on our computer to grammar check and spell check our work. But you have to go beyond that, because sometimes if we're using an older word processing system, there might be some mistakes that the computer can't catch. You see what I mean? So it's okay to use your eyes and your own incredible brain to proofread after the fact. That's how you get to some of the details inside. And you think to yourself, well, maybe this first sentence would actually be stronger as the last sentence. And then you can go even further than that. You can have a friend, another student or scholar that you know who you count as a really strong thinker and writer. Have them proofread your work and offer you some feedback on it. And then you can go even further than that and ask a mentor. Maybe your uncle, your Theo, has a real way with words. Maybe a teacher who teaches creative writing or English has always inspired you with their use of words, and you can ask them. Maybe a counselor at school would offer you an extra set of eyes on your short responses. And this is absolutely okay. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. And when it comes to the scholarship process, there are so many people out there who want to help you to make your short response as strong as possible. There's a lot of tricks and tips that I'd love to give you, but we only have so much time in our workshop today. And before I turn things back over to Chu, I just want to remind you, it is right around the corner. February 7th will be here before you know it. And as one final note, I want to let you know that my life started in very humble beginnings on the Lower East Side of Dallas, Texas. And I now hold an undergraduate degree and a graduate degree. And much of that would not have been possible without the word scholarship in my life. A scholarship can change your trajectory, can change your path, can change your life. That's how important it is. And I wish only the best for all of you. And one of the things that can help you achieve those dreams is a college education. So it's time to put pen to page. It's time to put fingers to keyboard. And it's time to apply for the Hacer scholarship. So let's turn things back over to Chu to see how the chat's going and see if maybe we have any questions from anyone out there in the virtual world.
JZ, Joaquin, thank you. The gems, bro. You just dropping gems on everybody. I know we can't write an entire essay during this period of time, but at least we got everybody a real solid start, right? A real solid start to put pen to paper and create something. So thank you very much. And I'm sure we've got some questions out there. They can drop their questions in the chat. Here comes one from Jose. What's the best way to get started on my essay? You know what, JV? My son struggled with this big time, right? Like, what do I do? What's the first sentence? Give him an answer.
It's not just young scholars applying for scholarships. It's professional writers like myself trying to write a book. Sometimes staring at a blank screen can be the most intimidating thing in the world. So sometimes I like to break up the monotony by going pen to page in a notebook rather than on the screen. Sometimes I even like to get outside or to a library or to a park or another part of the house just to break up my routine of writing. You never know, looking out at a tree might remind you of a time when you were young, which will remind you of a memory with your grandfather, which will remind you about something inspiring to write in this short response. So breaking up your monotony is a good way to break up your routine and really get that first sentence on the page.
You know what, Joaquin, the activity that you just did with them with the list, that helped my son a lot too. Just being put
Awesome.
these lists together, right? And then seeing how the dots connected helped them get really inspired to start, right? So activities like that are awesome. And going outside, that's great. Let's see what next question we have here. Ricardo. Ricardo, do I really need to get my essay proofread by someone else? I already know the answer, but I'm gonna let the expert, all right? I'm gonna let the expert answer it. Tell him, Joaquin.
Okay, look, I just completed a book called Dollars for Scholars not too long ago. I wanted to write something for young people like yourselves, Ricardo, out there in the world trying to make a better life for yourself with the act of scholarship. But I knew I couldn't do it alone. When my main man Chew at CoolSpeak said, we want to help you through this process, we want to get you a second set of eyes. We want to get someone who can make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And I could not have completed that book without my proofreader, without my editor. I'm so grateful to have that in my life. And you should be too. Your friends, your teachers, your counselors, your associate principals, your mentors, your coaches, they want to see you shine and they want to help in any way that they can. So don't be afraid to ask for help because when we have another set of eyes on it, a second set and a third set, it only gets stronger.
Yeah, your voice is your power. Let it be heard. Don't be shy. All right, Mariana, can a good essay really help me win scholarships?
Mariana, fantastic question. And I can tell you right now, in traveling the country and talking with people about the scholarship process, every person told me the exact same answer. The most crucial thing is the scholarship essay or the short response. It's the thing that lets them know who you are as a student and a person. They want to cheer for you, they want to root for you, and this is where they find out who the real you is, and they're excited to read about it. So make sure you're answering as thoroughly as possible because it's one of the most important parts of the project, of the whole scholarship process.
And you know what, JD? I'm gonna give him a scoop. All right, spoilers. I'm on a committee for a scholarship. I read these essays, and I will tell you, yes, I look at the grades. Yes, I look at letters of recommendation. Yes, I look at all that. But for me, there's nothing better that tells me who you are and what you've been through than either an essay or those short answer responses, right? You have a story to tell. And if you are not going to grab the pen and write down and take control of that narrative, then we're left to try and guess. We're left to look at numbers to try and figure out who you are. So, as someone who's been on a committee before and continues to be on a committee, please tell me your story. I want some context. I want to know who I'm giving this scholarship to. All right. And those short answers or those essays are the best way that you're going to be able to tell me or someone else who you are. So please do that. Please, please,
Absolutely.
please do that. All right. Joaquin, that's it. That's the time we have. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Joaquin and me for this entire session. Now we want to hear from you. All right. So please let us know how we did. All you have to do is answer a few questions by going to the URL that's right here. All right. www.clspk.com/Hacer3. If you do that, if you give us some feedback on how this session went, you will get a free electronic version of a book that me and Ernesto wrote called Get in Gear. It is a college readiness book to give you all the information you need to get ready for college. You will be able to download it for free. Simply give us your feedback. All right, Joaquin, thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. We really appreciate it. Alexander, Natalia, thank you very much. Sign language, I don't even know how you guys keep up with us. All right, it is incredible. Thanks to McDonald's and the Hacer Scholarship for allowing us to do this. This is the last event, y'all. This is it. All right. This is goodbye. All right. And I want to thank all the parents, students, teachers, staff that have participated in this tour from the beginning, that have come back many, many, many times. But you know what? before we leave, we've got to announce a winner. I said that we were going to announce a winner, and we do have a winner for those Bluetooth AirPods, all right? Those earbuds, all right? Who's going to be the winner? Drum roll, please. The winner is Grace Sanford from Gray Bull, Wyoming. Wyoming coming in strong, y'all. I know it's cold and snowy up there too, but now you can warm up with some really good music. Congratulations on winning the prize. Joaquin, whew, it had been uh, it had been quite a tour this year with everything that's going on with the virtual, but we've got through it. And now there's only one thing left for the students to do. Joaquin, I'll give you one guess what it is that they got to do.
We
Apply.
got to apply. We got to
You
look
got to
at February
apply.
7th, and we have to make sure we apply to win that scholarship. You can do it, students. You can do it, scholars. I believe in you. Chu believes in you. We believe in you.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for being a part of the McDonald's Hacer Tour, but now it's in your hands. The deadline to apply is February 7th. It's right around the corner, but you've got everything you need. You've got all the tools and resources. And by all means, if you want to go back and watch some of the other videos that we've done, to watch this video that Joaquin has done, any of the sessions, you can go to YouTube and watch the videos again. But please make sure that you apply, all right? Get in where you fit in. Your voice is your power, and we want to hear it. So thank you very much. Joaquin, any last words, my friend?
Do it.
Yeah.
Just apply and do the thing. You've got it. I believe in you.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. One love.